Ladies and gentlemen, very well, welcome back to another cast with trend following Tyson. December stock analysis, guys. Let's go ahead and put this work in. Pardon me. So, okay, we're at this point. All right, we're at this point. We've been trading very well all year long. Very well all year long. So, with that being said, let's go ahead, take up some stuff from Seykota. I thought it would only be right for us to take up this last analysis in December with Seykota, one of the best traders of all time. All right, so very big stuff, very big business we're dealing with right now. We've had a very good year. Let's just stick to the process, all right, that we've been sticking to all year, and let's not get outside of that. Let's just keep doing what's working. Let's close this year up strong. Let's let our positions work. We can take a few more if capital permits us so, and let's let these things run and let them work. All right, so you guys know there's no other way to get from, you know, if you buy a stock at 20 and you're going to sell it at 100, okay, you have to sit tight and you have to sit inside that trend as it's making its way through. So let's take up some stuff, man. You know, my teachers, Nicholas Jarvis, Seykota, Mike Covell, Larry Tintorelli, Seykota, Stanley Druck, Larry Height, George Soros. These are all my teachers. All right, so I take what they have to say about trading very dearly, and I take it very seriously. And it's that time, guys, for us to go ahead and put this analysis together, and let's crank it up for 2020. Okay, so starting out, the trading rules I live by: cut losses, ride winners, keep bets small, follow the rules without question, know when to break the rules. All right, cut losses, that's very simple. We're taking entries, right? So when we start 2020, we're going to take entries. Those entries that work out, we're going to sit tight with those, okay? Those entries that work, we're going to stay put. The entries we take that don't work, we're going to cut those losses. All right, that could be, in my opinion, when a trend breaks a support level or goes below a trend line, either or a support level or a trend line in price. That's where I automatically cut a portion of my position. A lot of times trends just don't crack though. But us, if we're gonna follow something from 20 to 100, or if we're gonna take profits, we can't allow stocks to crack on us and we follow them the whole way for no reason, because we're basically giving back half of our position, because sometimes trends do crack and they reverse in the other way. All right, so AMPH is an example of that. And I'm glad we took profits when we took profits on AMPH. Ride your winners. Your winners are always going to show their face. Okay, your winners are always going to show their face. Keep bets small and manageable. That way, when trends are making the moves that they're moving, you're not oohing and on at every turn, and you're not trying to buy and sell at every turn of the trend. Know when to break the rules. Yeah, that just depends on what you're doing inside the trend. All right, that just depends on you. I have one more quote from Seykota, one very special quote from Seykota, and then we will jump into the trend picture. Charting is like surfing. You don't have to know a lot about the physics of tides, renaissance, and fluid dynamics in order to catch a good wave. You just have to be able to sense when it's happening and then have the drive to act at the right time. And Seykota said that. All right, and why is he talking about charting and surfing and talking about waves and the dynamics? Is because when you're going to trade the trend, you don't need to know exactly why or the specific reason why price is going where it's going. You just need to understand that price is going where it's going, and you need to make your entry. You need to have the guts to pull the trigger to get inside when you're supposed to. That's what have the drive to act at the right time. And you don't have to know the fluids and the dynamics. You don't have to know the specifics behind the price. You don't have to know the physics of the tides and the resonance of the tides. You don't have to know that. You don't have to know the specifics in price. Why is price going up? You just need to notice that price is going up. And you can sometimes look at the other side of the chart and see that price, if price is going to continue to go up, that it has a very far way to go up. So you need to take your entries, sit tight, and let those things work out and pull the trigger when you're supposed to. So coming up in this year 2020, we're going to really crank it up. All right, we're going to really crank it up. All right, we're going to really crank it up. And I want you guys to pull the trigger, stick to the process, and just perfect the points that we need to perfect inside our trading process. Okay, that's all we need to do. Just stick to what's working. We've been doing what we've been doing all year long, trading this trend like we've been doing on the show with me. I've been very successful. If you guys see my equity curve, it's just, I mean, if you look at the best trends on the market, that's what my equity curve looks like. All right, I kid you not. So let's keep following trends. Let's just do what we've been doing, and I'm going to show you guys some new entries. So we're taking the December analysis. Let's just finish the year here, and then we'll pick up something starting fresh in 2020. And believe me, there will be home runs to be hit in 2020. Let's start the trend analysis. Thank you, Ed Seykota, one of the best traders of all time. Okay, best traders of all time. That's not up for discussion. AMRX. And let's do this. AMRX showing some upside here. We see these levels here, these resistance levels have turned into a support level, and we're starting to show some green here. I like AMRX, and look at this upside. If we decided to get going, AMRX showing huge upside. Okay. APPS, of course, you guys know, long APPS. I have to show it because we're just charting. We need to stay with our winners and cut our losers, right? That's what Ed Seykota just said. So we're cutting our losers, riding our winners. Why did I take an entry on APPS at the beginning of the year? Look at, guys, look at this. That's why I said if we're gonna trade the trend, right, we have to take an entry, and we can't get out until price tells us to get out. So we took an entry back here. When was this? This was in March. Okay, this was in February that we took our entry on APPS. Here it is at the end of the year. So what did I tell you guys? I said if we're going to trade a trend and we're going to take an entry, we have to stay put all year long. If price doesn't tell us to get out, and we don't have a time frame because we're trading the trend, and we're not saying, oh, we're going to trade the trend only for 6 months, or we're going to only stay in this stock for so long. No, we're going to stay in this trend until there is no trend. And this trend, obviously, when we made our entry, is still clearly in an uptrend. So we clearly made our entry back here. Take this whole portion of the chart off before we took our entry here. And you guys can go back and check the show when we made our entry on APPS there. So obviously that's another home run. So we're still long APPS, and we're going to let that continue to work. And that's still inside of our deck of cards. Okay, APPS, huge home run. I like where it's at now, kind of developing, starting to settle with some support levels inside this 827, inside this upper level here. Let's go ahead and rock that out. Okay, let APPS continue to work. And what I tell you guys at the beginning, I said if we take some of these entries on stocks, we may be there all year long, and that's just what price is telling us to do. So here we are. I just feel so bad. This is another trend that I should have been long on for the whole year, and I just totally failed to buy this breakout here in ARWR. So this just goes to show you guys what I mean by good trend following. You see a stock like this breaking out, you notice the levels, and you say if this stock breaks out of this level here, it's on, and I'm going to take an entry. If you would have took that entry, you never really had a reason to get out. Maybe you would have sold some off here and took some profits and let the rest ride, but you would have never had a reason to get out. And you would have took a $20 stock, and it's almost gonna be a $70, $80 stock. That's Nicholas Darvish trading right there. Okay, and that's just all about what stocks you're picking out. There is no magic ball to rub to know what stocks we're gonna pick. All right, you just have to take multiple entries. Like I said, when we come into the year 2020, guys, we're gonna look at maybe 20, 30 stocks, and we're gonna take numerous entries on those stocks, and whatever shows to be winners and losers, we're gonna sort the losers out, and the winners we're gonna hold until they're not winners anymore. Did you see APPS and ARWR? That's a perfect example. AQUA, I'm long AQUA. I'm took an entry here at 1625, and obviously this trend's still on the go, so I have nothing to do here but just to sit tight. Okay, we pull back here, and obviously we're showing some bullishness, some very bullishness back in the stock, getting ready to set another higher high. This is textbook. AQUA always, this is just textbook what the stock is doing. There's nothing here for me to do but you just let that dog continue to work. Okay, it's just like a you know, a pit bull or any other type of dog you have that are good gaming dogs, the water dogs, the other dogs that like to hunt ducks, you know, the bulldogs that like to hunt javelinas, wild boars and stuff like that. Those dogs love to work. So it's the same thing what we're doing with these good stocks. We're just letting them, obviously they're working, let's just let them continue to do what they're doing, is to continue to work until they're not working anymore. I like ATRS at the top of this. We'll see what happens. Okay, decent looking stock right now. Plenty of way better stuff than that, but that looks halfway decent. Okay, that's out of that medical appliances space. ATRS looking halfway decent. AUPH also looking halfway decent. There's a ton of stocks that we're gonna have to go through here today. Okay, guys, so just give me a second. Let's brace ourselves. AUPH, I just wanted to prove a point here. When I see a stock like this starting to make this curve, breaking through these prices over here on the left, I like to take my entry, and I don't know where we're going to go. So if you would have followed the process, which is to buy stocks that are breaking through prices over on the left, giving you a nice curling structure, which means we're building support as we're going up, you need to take your entries and don't second guess. And when you didn't second guess this entry, you got a nice reward for it. Okay, AUPH also not in a bad space right now. As you see, it gapped up at 15 and we're in 1770 now. Okay, not a bad looking situation there. Okay, I'd wait for that to pull back and see what happens, but definitely something nice happening in AUPH. Something already nice has happened in AUPH, and that just goes to show you guys, when a stock is showing you, this looks similar to this last stock we just looked at, AUPH. When I tell you guys, when a stock is starting to build a nice base, rounding off, showing support, we need to take our entries, because it's showing us signs that price is starting to gather momentum and starting to clear prices to the other side of the chart. Here goes AUTL showing you a nice situation happening before it actually unfolds. We're not 100% sure if that's how it's going to rock out, but we'll go ahead and take our chances. Okay, if we did that to 100 stocks and cut the losers, we might end up with 50, and we might end up with 50 losers. But my God, could you imagine what we're gonna do with those 50 winners that are tripling, going from 20 to 70? I mean, Jesus Christ, we're knocking. You just need one or two of those good winners to go to 20 to 70, and you knocked out all those other 50 losers if you spaced your entries and exits correct. Okay, I just liked how BILI was looking. It's looking okay. This was a really nice stock back earlier in the year, but I see a nice base we're building up, starting to knock over prices to the left, starting to show some strength there. Okay, CLVS looking decent as well. And then we'll look at a few more. Remember, I told you guys we got a lot of stuff to look at, a lot of stocks setting up. All right, and we should be taking our entry. CLVS, remember when I told you guys, if a stock is starting to round, showing it's getting ready to take back that chart, we need to start taking our entries and don't second guess. Look at this, guys. We're looking at a $10, $7, $8, $9, $10, a $12 stock. Look at the upside that we have if we even attempt to take back some of this chart. If we even got to 27, 25, 30, that's a home run. That's a home run. That's a home run. Not up for discussion. DOMO. All right, everyone's trading process isn't the same. I respect trend followers that buy stocks that bounce off the 200 moving day average and off the 20, but that's just not my trading strategy. I buy prices that are curling, that show upside to the left. DOMO also showing some upside. These stocks, I saw them in the beginning of the week. I just wasn't able to make a show. So this upside right here in DOMO today, I already was looking at this stock for an entry. So if we would have made our entries when we were planning on it around 23, then we'd already be green. So this stock still showing you we're rounding, huge upside, nothing to question there. Let's just take our entries and sort those winners and those losers out. I'm telling you guys, if these stocks even attempt, and just from the charts that I showed you guys, these stocks that are tripling and doubling in price, dude, is not up for discussion. And this is exactly how TNDM looked before when we took our entries. Remember, you guys remember TNDM? This is exactly how it looked. This is exactly how these structures are starting to look, showing strength, rounding, prices that are rounding, showing strength, knocking over prices to the left, showing momentum. Okay, so let's just keep rocking out, doing what we do. I like an entry on this. Actually, I'm long GTT. I took this long today. I opened this long at 12:35. So I'm long GTT, showing huge upside. This is inside this communications thing. So beautiful stuff in GTT. And I'm long that beast right there, okay? Let's see what happens. I'm telling you guys, we're going to take some entries the beginning of this year. And you can bet your ass a lot of them are going to be home runs. So all of them aren't going to be home runs, but some of them will be home runs. And we're going to keep our accounts and our equity curves looking just like these mega trends that we're following. Our equity curve is going to look exactly like that. I like KERN. It's just not a lot of, it's just kind of iffy, not a lot of momentum here, but this stock did go to 40 and 50. So let's just see what happens here. I wouldn't take a really large position. I'd take a play position in that one. I wouldn't take a really large position inside that one. Let's look at Rocket. Okay, we're just going to look at a handful of stocks and we're going to take our entries, and we'll be back 2020 to see what else, the beginning of 2020, to see what else we should be doing. Here goes, just to prove you guys once again, when these stocks are starting to make these curling structures, we need to take our look at this. Just like 10 of the 20 of the stocks we just looked at, it's curling here, showing momentum, knocking prices over to the left. And the 200-day moving average, of course it hasn't curled yet because we're taking entries on it. But here's the 20 and the 200 crossing, which is another love making music for us trend followers and momentum following trading traders. Okay, so Rocket looking very well. Wait for that thing to tone down a tad bit and we could possibly take another entry to this. We're definitely gonna be firing our bosses very soon trading like this. Okay, let's just keep moving. Let's just keep doing what's working, sticking to the process. Like I told you guys, my equity curve right now is looking exactly like these uptrends in a straight uptrend. My equity curve right now looks exactly like APPS. Okay, so let's just keep doing what we're doing and not going against that grain. I like PRVB, looks halfway decent. Let's see what happens. We can take an entry on it now. Let's give ourselves some stops out around these support levels, 11, 10, 50. You guys know the process already, okay, for hitting these mega home runs, and we've been doing it all year long, and we're not going to stop. All right, so let's just keep perfecting what's working. Let's not change anything. We don't have any secret sauce, but we know we have a strategy that gets us home runs, and that's what we need to stick to. Stanley Druckenmiller. All right, stick to a process that gives you home runs and protects capital. Okay, protects capital, keeps you in these stocks that are going from 10 to 30, 10 to 50, 20 to 70, 30 to 100. Okay, keeps you in that process. Curling here, showing strength. A lot of this is love making music again. We don't need to question the process. Let's just take our entries and see how much of this thing is going to continue to curl. Okay, this is what we're looking at right now. This is my type of trading. I don't know if you guys have been successful in this, but this is just how I look for my trends and how I make my entries. I don't like to enter a trend after it's been running all year, okay? I like to enter it before it starts running all year, before it lifts off that tarmac, all right? Here goes SCOR, looking decent, huge upside. Take a decent position in there, and let's see what happens, okay? SCOR. All right, we're going to show up a few more stocks and we'll close out of here. VIPS, also a home run, showing itself at new 52-week highs. VIPS, okay? TWOU, and we'll close up this December stock analysis. And you guys, we are here to hit home runs. We're not here to play any games. We're here to hit home runs and trade our very best. Let's just stick to us. Let's just keep sticking to what's working, and let's just keep kicking ass. Keep kicking ass and literally taking names. All right, so here we are, TWO, huge upside, huge upside. If we even attempted to take back some of this chart, it's a wrap. Okay, so if we hit 2, 3, 4, or 5 of these this year, we're in the green. And that's all we need to be in the green. Dude, I'm up 120% in 3 months. All right, so let's just keep doing what we're doing. Don't trade outside of this process, you guys. Let's just keep doing what we're doing and keep hitting these home runs and protecting our ass and limiting this downside. I'll see you guys here early January for 2020, and let's just keep kicking ass, taking names. All right.